Hello there, so this is my second video from the vault that has taken quite a while to arrive as I had to redo all of this editing because I lost it for some reason. So what we're about to watch here is what I was up to last summer when I was visiting my grandmother's house, so I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so hi! I'm currently at my grandmother's house, so this is kind of like a dependence where my mom made like this artist studio about 30 years ago, and this is where I found all of those lovely drawings and paintings from my great grandmother and her sister Isabel. So it's really filled with like a lot of objects from like the early, like the 1910s, and like this is really cool for me to be in. But I also found, so there was one picture where we could see that one of the frames, so one of the Louis XVI frame, it was actually this one, was broken. Partly due to that massive crack in the wall, which I'm hoping is not gonna collapse anytime soon when I'm here. But yeah, so I thought this kind of gave me a good opportunity to learn a new skill and learn how to restore frames, which I have never tackled for now. I have made some frames like from scratch from like little trimmings that I had, but nothing like this, nothing like antique. So this one I've already started to put back together, so it still needs to be attached here. But basically I didn't really know what I was doing, so I decided to stop where I was and to research this properly. And I've got some material coming through, and like there's so many antiques. I see just here. I'm gonna do a little tour after, like show you what I can see. But like, yeah, there's a lot of frames that are really nice here. So there's a lot to experiment with. I think this one is a good starting point because it's kind of simpler. Like there's not that intricate like carvings in it, so like it's a bit easier not to mess up. Anyway, okay, I'm stalling a bit. I'm not gonna lie. This could be another interesting project. You can see there's some very beautiful trimmings here that are massively missing from here. But it's a beautiful mirror. That's quite a big piece to be working on, to be honest. So maybe I'll start with a smaller one and keep this one for a rainy day because it is quite enormous. So here starts the first battle of what I thought was going to be pretty straightforward and ended up being quite tricky because
The clamps were not really holding the weight that I wanted to, and it was really just a struggle. I tried holding it down with nails, but they wouldn't really go through. Maybe the wood was just that bit too strong. So that made the whole thing a lot more difficult than it needed to be.
So, I'm a bit scared to like remove the clamps from the frame. Like, glue back together now. So I'm tempted to leave that till tomorrow and do next. I just need to decide which frame I want to do first. I'm just coming in real quick here just to clarify that I was originally working on 2 frames at once, but I decided to divide it into 2 separate videos, so that's what I'm referring to here. We may proceed. Because there's quite a lot of choices here. I'm really tempted. So this one, that you can't see right now, I'll try to turn my camera. Okay. Yeah, I think this one is really, really fragile. So I moved it to clean that surface because it really needed it. But like, I just basically like barely touched this and it just like fell off. So I think the first step I want to do, I think I do want to secure this to make sure that like these hold. And I mean, it's not much that is missing from it, so I might try to do this one again. I think I will at least secure this one so it doesn't fall to pieces. I'll figure it out. Anyway, okay, let us see if this motherfucker held. Okay. I'm quite a bit nervous about this because it doesn't look that bad. I think we'll have to make do with what we have because, okay, so it's not really, but it holds, okay. So I might have to cheat a little bit here. It's not going to be perfect, but you know what? With what I had, it's not that bad. But I'll do, So what I'm doing here is that I am filling in all the gaps with some plaster filler, basically, is what I found was the most effective thing to use on this frames. Okay, so for here we have these. Just gonna... Okay. So let's try this. So we've got this for the alcohol at 70%. So the first step I want to take is to work on this one. So I've got this, the alcohol. Here. And then we have the wood glue. Put in a bit of water.
not so liquid that the glue won't take anymore. I don't know if that's a bit much. Okay, let's give that a try. Okay. So they say to go. So that's the step to do before we do any cleaning. So you just dab it on. In every little crack. Section by section. And then to go in with the glue. And normally that would allow it to go into all the little bits and to secure them. And I can see them move quite a bit. So I really hope that works because you just dab. Dab, dab. And I'm pretty much gonna have to go over the entire thing. That's gonna take a minute. So the glue should get transparent after.
So, where I'm at, so I've almost finished refilling all the holes in the first Louis XVI frame. I have this and this. So which one's that one? So I got two things. Okay. So I've got this gilding liquid. So that's the Florentine taint. That seemed on the picture to be close to what I had there. And then I've got this one that looks like, this looks a bit more yellowish and this looks a bit more reddish. So this is Jesus Christ. So this is the wax, gilding wax. So I thought I would have like those two different things. So I have maybe like this more yellowish for the base color, and then like to do a little bit of accents, I've got this this one that is, what's the color? Renaissance. There you go. So we've got Florentine and Renaissance, and I think from the colors that we see here, I think these are pretty close to what we have. So, and then I've seen that you can also use like watercolor to like do a little wash if we want to. And I've got this one, the little set. It's really cute. So I should be fine to be able to recreate as, you know, much as possible the colors that we had on the original. I just put on the, I think, last bits of filler on the Louis XVI frame. So I still need to wait for that to dry, obviously, so I can sand it down and like maybe sculpt a bit more. Like there's not that much sculpting to do on this one. It's mostly on the ornament, on the bow at the top, that I will need to do a little bit of refining and re-sculpting the little undulation that are on the very characteristic Louis XVI bow. So yeah, that's about it.
Here I'm filling in all the gaps that were missing in the bow. So what we wanted to do here is really like trying to make it as seamless as possible.
Okay, so I'm back on the Louis XVI frame, but I had no problem because I realized that on my shopping list I completely forgot to have sanding paper to smooth all of those surfaces. So I found those little nail files thing, so I'm gonna try that. This here. Isn't that bad? And then I even have the finer ones.
And here it was really important, especially in the bow, to really try to clean up as much bulk that was created so we didn't lose any of the detailing.
here I've got the tip, and I would like to already start drawing without removing too much of it if I can. And then here it must be kind of a straight line. Okay, so that's about the shape that we want. Very costly, but still. And here, that was really the very little tip that was missing. And the last one. Okay, so this is the last bit of this. Listen, it seems to work, but I just have to wait for that to dry one last time. Trim the little bits that I've added, sand it off, and then I think it's pretty much fixed. I mean, this worked quite well. You can hardly see a little bump. Quite pleased with that. And this relative will find its frame once again to go back with alongside his wife. So this worked amazing. Highly recommend.
And now, as you can see, as it dried off, it was much easier to get the shape exactly as I wanted it. And this is where I realized that the bow structure was still moving and not as secure as I wished it was. So this is where I have put a little bit of wood glue into the mix and propped it up so it could dry like this, and that worked like a charm. After that, it didn't move anymore.
I'm quite happy because here it is very stable now. So I've really stabilized that. The reconstruction of those bits are quite good. I don't know if there was a need to put any of this red paint. I think it's just because I know that in gilding, like when you use gold leaf, you use a special kind of paint that would be kind of terracotta, kind of like the red paint that is underneath, and it kind of helps to warm up the gold. But that's just because the gold leaf are a little bit see-through. It does make sense for that. I'm not sure that my paint is a bit see-through, but just in the off chance, I think maybe you might be able to morph it just a little bit better than the white would. I don't know, we'll see. I don't know if I will have to like paint over everything. Like there's some things like that aged a bit that I think look quite nice, but I could always try to replicate that a bit. Don't know. I'll try to just apply it in those bits, but I don't know if I will be able to get the same patina. I'll see what it does with the paint. I think I'll try to like redo this one and try to make it look as much as the other one. Just this one. So I might have to do a little bit of weathering, a little bit. Okay, so I got very little paint on the brush. Here I've got to go a bit heavy because I closed some gaps. So now it kind of looks, okay, so it looks good. So we've got a little bit of a difference here that we can see. It's a little bit noticeable that it's been repaired. Like from what I can see, we can hardly see it here. And here's not too bad either. Like up in the bow, pretty good too. The reconstruction. So I'm gonna let that dry, and then I'm gonna go in with my watercolors and try to weather it down a bit so it just doesn't look as like, you know, shiny and new, and looks a bit more nuanced like it's here. A good start, I think. Okay, so I'm just going to very quickly try and weather this a little bit. I'm gonna put a bit of black, maybe a bit of brown as well. Just so I can try to weather down just a little bit.
So here my big problem, apart from the part that I didn't really have time to do everything, because this was like on the very last day of my holiday, was that the gold paint was an oil-based paint. And here I was trying to apply with watercolor, which didn't really adhere to it. And I didn't really have time to degrease the support. So this is what made it a bit more difficult.
Give a bit more dimension. I'm not actually sure it's doing anything. Just don't want it to be like so clean. It seems to like mostly work on the parts where I didn't do anything. It's not doing much, but you know what? We're gonna say that's good. Well, I did want to give it a bit more dimension. I think it kind of did, maybe. You know what? Time will. I don't have time. Okay, time to put things together. Okay, so that concludes my summer video. That was so much fun to do. I really enjoyed getting inspired by this place that my mom all put together, and like every object in this room has been carefully selected by her, and they were all objects that she wanted to save and that she loved and that she wanted to have around her in that workshop that she made for herself. And it was really fun to take possession of the space and to help preserve what she wanted to preserve. I mean, that was a really fun thing to do, and if I learned a new skill doing that, that was just the icing on the cake, really. So that's really why I love doing this. It's really like, you know, saving some object that, you know, we don't really do them anymore, and trying to put as much care as possible into it. It's really something that I find really interesting. So I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. Don't hesitate to comment, like and subscribe. If you would like to do so, you can click on the little bell. And I will see you in my next video, wherever I am or whatever I'm doing. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoy this.
Oh, and this was originally a 2-frame video that I decided to divide into 2 videos. So stay tuned for part 2.
And I'll see you soon. Bye.